Boy Beats World is an interesting spin on Crypt of the Necrodancer, if you've ever played that before. If you haven't, it's like an RPG experience, but instead of just going in and mashing and taking everyone down like a 2D brawler, you have to attack the enemies to the beat of the music that's going on in the background. Boy Beats World does this in an RPG 2D like brawler style setting, brings in lots of self-referential humour, and whilst it doesn't look pretty necessarily on the box, it's got great sound, it's got some good personality to it, and that keeps you going through its several hours of its campaign. There are 7 districts, or kind of worlds I guess you could say, in all, and they have a variety of tracks inside. And what you're doing basically is you're carrying Daisy Bell, who is a giant speaker that you put on the back of your back, and whenever a beat hits, she kind of emits a blast radius that you can tap into with your skills as Boy. And so what happens is that as it goes round, and you can have a visual aid if you want to, I didn't actually use it but for gameplay, but it can kind of go round in a circle with a little hit detection point in, so that you can get used to where the beat is in each of the songs. But essentially that blast radius that Daisy Bell gets out, you can take charge of and charge depending on the skill. So it could be that you do like a light attack, it could be like a special attack, it could be that you're actually using it to suck in more energy so that you can then do a bigger blast radius attack as a special move. Each thing is kind of assigned a different button and a different colour code as well, so that you can really maximize every beat as you go. At the same time, you can also do a dodge with this beat as well. So everything that you want to do that makes you either attack or evade something is tied to that beat. However, the running around that you do is not. So it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you realise that you've got that freedom of movement but not the freedom of attack and defence, you start to get used to the way how the game works. The beauty of this, and the real difficulty of Boy Beats World, is that because you've got this blast radius that Daisy Bell has as a weapon, you need to be quite close to enemies for you to actually have an effective attack. But the problem with that is that you're then within their radius to be attacked back at the same time. And the whole difficulty around this is kind of moving into just about attack range just before the beat, executing the beat, and then either rolling out if you've got time for the next one, or just scampering away wherever possible. And because each of the different enemies has a different way of coming at you, you kind of have to switch up your tactics depending on who's on screen. Quite often gameplay revolves around kind of being introduced to some of these enemies and their attacks, and then getting locked into a screen where you've got like a rush mode where you've got like 6 or 7 of them on the screen at once in some like 2 or 3 waves, and then you have to kind of kill them all and survive them all, and then it will open up the path for you to continue on. So very Double Dragon and Streets of Rage for me, but just musically, if that makes sense. As you go along, you can also go into shops and upgrade some of your abilities, unlock new ones, and take part in some of the self-referential humour and kind of fourth wall breaking that the game tries to bring. You are essentially a human released out of like a cryogenic stasis. So throughout the first level, you're naked, and everyone's like, "No, where's the clothes?" And then eventually you do get given some, but it's like with a nodding wink to the like camera, and then it's like, "Oh, but the player has been controlling me all this time, and he didn't say I was naked," and things like that. Some of them, it generally all lands very well. Some of them like are real corkers, which I'll leave for you. And it's that kind of humour and fun mixed with the interesting gameplay that carries you through, because the graphical style, I must say, didn't really do anything for me. And the soundtrack, whilst it's good for the game itself, didn't really... It's in a weird kind of way where it's got hooks and rhythm and melodies, but they're designed to not be ridiculously catchy, so that they don't kind of get stuck in your head and really annoying, which is great for the game itself. I wouldn't necessarily go out and like buy the soundtrack separately though, if that makes sense to me. Or to you, sorry. However, I did enjoy my time. It is a challenge. It gets quite difficult, especially in the last third, but I had a really good time playing the game. Yes, it's rough around the edges. Don't expect beautiful graphics. Do not expect wowsy whizzy stuff. I did find it really appreciative that it's got options for you to sync up your audio and visual cues, and you need to do so. And this is just a word of warning ahead of time before anyone that plays it. There's a slight delay. I was playing with an Xbox 360 controller. There's a really tiny delay in the button press to what you're doing. So you might initially think, without collaborating, that you have hit something on the mark, and it will come out late. So use that collaboration. It's there for a reason. All good rhythm action games usually have it, and it's great to see that it's here in Boy Beats World. So yeah, this is going to be a very niche recommendation. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is one that everyone should go out and run and buy immediately, but if you're a fan of Crypt of the Necrodancer and enjoyed that in any way, shape or form, if you like rhythm games but want to try something a little bit different, or if you enjoy kind of full breaking narratives, then Boy Beats World might have something for you. A written review will be over on higherplayinggames.com. If you've got questions, leave it down below. And yeah, next time you're going into the apocalypse, take a beatbox with you. Bye-bye. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.